And good morning. Good morning to our listeners and our viewers. I'm so excited to be back. I have a great guest for you guys, so I am on fire. Hope you like the music. As always, we play the rock music to start our day. And actually, I might be doing some videos about the type of music that I listen when I'm trying to get focused or when I'm trying to get energy. So that would be a whole different video. So with that, I just want to welcome you all to the Profit Lab podcast. I am your host, Marie Torossian, certified 10X coach, CFO, an auditor, certified public accountant, and chartered global manager accountant. I serve the entrepreneurial community through my two businesses, my CPA firm, Marie Torossian CPA, and my management consulting company, The Profit Lab. The Profit Lab podcast, which is what you're listening to today, serves to expand our mission to empower entrepreneurs by bringing their stories to the masses. We are thrilled to tell your story to inspire, empower, and uplift other entrepreneurs. Make sure to check out also our podcast on audio version on the profitlab.biz/podcast. We launched the podcast August 2nd of last year, 2022, where I spoke about my entrepreneurial journey and shared some of the experiences and the challenges that I've gone through so far. And as I promised you guys, I plan on featuring different entrepreneurs from all walks of life every week as much as I can. So if you want to be a guest on my show, make sure to go to my webpage, theprofitlab.biz/podcast, and there's going to be a section right there where you can apply to be a guest on my show. Today is our 17th episode, and we are live on Facebook at theprofitlab.biz, on my LinkedIn, Marie Torossian CPA, your 10X CPA, and on my YouTube channel, Marie Torossian CPA. So make sure on whichever channel that you are listening, watching us on, make sure to like, subscribe, follow, share, so that everybody else can and learn from all the entrepreneurs that we're bringing to the show. So with that, today I am welcoming my guest, a friend, a fellow leadership global member, Brigitte Bojkowszky, Ph.D., a doctor. She is a global and personal brand strategist and the founder of BridgetBrands, a branding strategy boutique that offers digital courses, challenges, workshops, and one-on-one exclusive training to personal and organizational brands. With her proven 3-step branding blueprint, she empowers ambitious women who embark on their entrepreneurial journey to embody their brand with the right look and feel so that they can feel authentically themselves, shine, and thrive. Brigitte, I welcome you to the Profit Lab show. I am so excited to have you.
Hi, Marie. Thank you so much for having me. Your music is so inspiring and motivating. I'm still dancing.
Yeah. It is so good to have you, Brigitte. We start our conversations always with a similar question. We want to know about you. So tell us about yourself. Your values. If you want to tell us a little bit about your personal story. Totally up to you. You take it the way you want.
Okay, so hello, everyone. I'm Brigitte Bojkowszky, and everyone calls me Brigitte. So that is a very international kind of pronouncing my name. So I go with that. And I don't even know where to start because my life is so colorful and I have taken a very unconventional route. So I could talk about my first job as a flight attendant 30 years ago. And then I quit that. Then I started studying. Then I became a corporate. Then I studied again, did my PhD. And then I became a corporate again. And then I slowly transitioned slowly on one side and fast on the other side. It's kind of a mixture into entrepreneurship. So I had the pleasure to go through all these different stages, and it was really interesting. And I could take a lot of learnings from all these different parts of my life. Yes.
Right.
So here I am now as an entrepreneur.
Here you are as an entrepreneur. And it's true. I mean, we all go through different stages of our life. Every experience has built us up to be to bring those skills with us to our next challenge and the next chance, so we are better prepared. And obviously, entrepreneur journey is the very challenging, very challenging life. So, and it could be a very lonely life too sometimes. So it's good that we try to empower ourselves with other entrepreneurs and talk to them and connect with them.
Exactly, that's beautiful, because as you say, it's a journey. I always define it as a roller coaster ride, because it has all its highs and its lows, and
Yep.
sometimes you don't know whether you can really do it, whether you are carved out for that, and then you have another success and a win, and sometimes, or very often, it gets very lonely, especially when you're coming from an environment that is not predominantly
Yes.
full of business owners. So I'm coming out of an environment that from people that are all employed,
Right.
and then you really need to learn and to understand what it really means to have your own business, and to go
Yep.
through all of that at the beginning. And actually it never ends. It's a journey that is an ongoing evolvement of
Yes.
mastering your path, of walking your walk, of talking your talk, and learning and personal development.
Oh
And
yeah.
I have two hearts on it. One is like, okay, sometimes ask myself, am I carved out for that? And on the other hand, I know it's the only thing I want, because it's me. And I have never been that fulfilled in my life that I'm
Right.
now in that journey.
Yes.
So it's beautiful. And I think it's most important is to have people, as you said, that cheer you up, that root for you. So we help each other going through all of that, to have people that really understand you. It's not your parents, it's not the people that are maybe from past episodes or past stages in your life, that don't really understand what it really means. So there needs to be people around you who are going through the same thing, or maybe are already a little bit more advanced, but you need to be in that specific environment to make it through.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I feel like from comparing myself now versus when I started, let's say in 2019, 2020, I've come a long way, and that's why it's a journey, because you're always learning. The professional development you said, it's super important, because being an entrepreneur, it's a constant learning. You're learning from others that have been ahead of you, and then you're also learning from your current shortfall, or like the fails, like, so you fail at something, and then you learn from it, and you're like, okay, I'm not doing that one again. And I could tell you so many mistakes I made in the beginning, but it's true, it's a constant learning. We just keep going, though. You just have to get up and show up.
Yeah, and to that end, since I'm here in Europe and living in Austria predominantly, I sometimes
Yes.
go back and forth to Los Angeles, where I have very, very close friends I stay with and work from there. But in general, here the culture is a culture of, if you fail, you're not good enough. You are not
Right.
worth it. So,
Yes.
this is an entrepreneur who has failed. Don't go to that person. So,
Oh, goodness.
this is not good, because
No.
the failures are here to make us so much stronger. Now I see a failure, okay, maybe I failed, but what is the learning that I take away? And here is
Right.
the gold. And here is the gold that you build up. It's so rich in meaning, and you just need to understand. So it's time to reflect on that. Okay, what went wrong? Go in there and take it in, integrate that into your life, because it tells you something. It's helpful. And I think every failure or whatever road bump are you hit is here for you to elevate, to make you stronger and see things in a different way. and integrate that and make it better the next time. So that's how we grow. It's growing outside of our comfort zone, yeah, discovering our zone of
Yeah.
genius. And we only do that if we are courageous and risk something. It's not that I'm jumping off a cliff and I don't know what's down there. It's a calculated risk that say, I do that. I can do
Yeah.
that, even though I don't know what's gonna come. So you go into the unknown. That also means that you need to believe in yourself that you can do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And if you're not achieving the goal the way you think you did, but at least you have tried, and
Yes.
it brought you somewhere, right? So you're making yourself comfortable in the uncomfortable. You broaden your zone where you have a foundation, and it becomes more and more and more. And you also become, and I think it's a thing of women, feeling not confident. I am a very good example of that. So I was like, oh my God, I can't do that. And I'm carved out for that. Yes, I am. So you have to
Right.
really start it. You have to really walk it, and then things just fall into its place. And you see that it's not as bad as you think that it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And
I think that,
Mhm.
and I think it's, like you said, it's your environment too, because in some environments, when you fail, oh, everybody's going to be, oh, she's a failure, he's a failure, whatever it is. Versus, and I think, yes, you're right. Here in the US, there's more of the look, success. It is a step-by-step progress, right? Like every little progress is going to get you to that next big step. So, and a lot of times I think we don't look back to how far we've come. Like we're constantly judging ourselves. Like right now, oh my God, I didn't do the 5 goals I was going to do. And I got distracted doing something else. But then if you really think about over time, look back and say, oh, what did I achieve in the last year? Then it feels like, you know what? I
Yeah,
never thought I could do that. I can't believe I did that. One of the things I do every year is like at the end of the year, I go through, let's say, how many hours of professional development training did I do? How many important rooms was I in? How many great connections did I make? And, it's like, using your own, you come up with your own KPIs, but like, like those are one of the things that I look at because I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe how far I've come. So
yeah,
totally.
that's true. That's true. And I think I should also keep track on the numbers of how many conversations I have. I haven't done that. I only, yes, track how many Brands Talk episodes I have out there. So I have now the hundreds episodes. I'm very
That
happy
is
about that.
awesome.
Yeah. But what I want to add to that, because you say we never look back, we always
Yeah.
see what is here right now and what are we confronted with, and may I be able to accomplish that. Instead of looking what we have accomplished, we also look what others are doing and comparing ourselves very much
Yes.
with
Yes.
others who are like the I don't know, the 10 million
Yeah.
profits a year or whatever. So it's not good
Or
to
a
compare
million
ourselves.
followers or something like that, right? Yeah.
I mean, we have our heroes out there. We have
Yes.
the people that we look up to, and it's good because it also inspires us, it motivates
Sure.
us. But we should not really compare, because
Yes.
the danger is that, okay, I'm never gonna be like that
I will never
person.
get there.
We all have our own stories, and they are unique, and
Sure.
we all have how shall I say, we all have something to give, and it's
Absolutely.
worth so much. And we need to give credit to ourselves that we dare to do so. And yeah, I think that's important, just to understand that we are here for a reason, and
Absolutely.
believe
Absolutely.
in ourselves that we can do that.
Yes. I love that you said that. And I did do that. Like in the beginning, when I first started, let's say social posting and all that stuff, I would constantly, compare how many followers, how many, it's like, this is stuff that people say you got to have, how many followers, how many, and not until I was in the right rooms, and people told me like, No, focus on who's engaging with you. You don't want these fake followers that have been gathered over a period of time or like very short time. You want people that are actually engaged with what you're saying. That means they actually want to hear from you. So you're right. So it's not a good idea to compare in that sense, because we have our story. We may have started yesterday, somebody else started 20 years ago, so there's a big difference. So you can't compare to that. You just got to focus on daily steps, what you're doing now to build 20 years out.
Exactly. And that's how it is. And it's really focusing on what you can give and provide to the world, to the people that you feel aligned with, the people you
Right.
think you can help, and focus solely on that. And if you make
Yeah,
one person happy with the post, you already have one, right? And the more
absolutely.
they interact with you, they already show you
Yes.
that what you're doing is worth it, what you're doing is valuable, and that it makes sense to
Right.
do so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So this is
That's,
also because um, what I want to say here is that giving up is not an option.
oh yeah.
It's the this is one of my values, to having this consistency, the perseverance of
Mm,
moving forward, no matter
yeah.
what other people say. Because if you feel you have to do it, if you believe in yourself, if you have this kind, it sounds woo-woo, but I think it's true. If you have the feeling there is this calling, then you have to go
Yes.
for it. And
Yes.
this is always the right path to go.
Yes.
So perseverance, because you asked me what are some of my values. This is one of my values, to have that. Once you have
Yeah.
decided on, okay, that's what I want to achieve. This is my purpose. This is the vision I want to go for. You
Right.
have to have this perseverance and don't stop.
Yes. But well said. That's amazing. That's very well said. And you're right. That perseverance is a very, very interesting value to have. You can't fail if you don't, if you show up, right? So whatever happens, perseverance is that. Just keep going, because when you know, you're right. When you know your purpose in life, there's no way you're gonna give up. You're like, no, I gotta, and then you also have to have faith and prayer and say, hey, just give me the strength to keep going, because
Yeah.
the road is tough. I
Yeah.
need reinforcements.
It's exactly. And also is when you have this calling, it's something that you really want to do and you need to do. And you are also passionate about something, passionate about, the love that you put into something that you
Yeah.
can others
Yes.
help with, right? So perseverance, and also the passion to do something. And then when you're working with people, being compassionate with people, really putting
Yes.
yourselves into their shoes, having this empathy, having this kindness, really understanding them where they are, and
Mhm.
how do I get them to the place they desire to be. And they
Yes.
cannot go it alone. So supporting them, being the guide, being a
Yes.
compassionate guide, and really understanding what they want. So this is really important if you are an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Which brings me to my next question to you. So, what made you decide to become an entrepreneur? Like, what got you to, after years of like being in the corporate world, being a professor, what made you decide to kind of go to entrepreneur, right, and start your own business?
Oh yeah, there are several reasons.
And I'm
um,
all ears.
yeah. So I start with the most recent one. As a professor, I was always something missing. I was teaching for all together. So sometimes I was full time, then just associate because I was in corporate, and then I was a student going for my PhD. So I always kind of taught as a
Yes.
sideline. And then the
Yes.
financial crisis kicked in 2008. So then
Mm,
I somehow, over the years, they asked me, can you take on more, a higher teaching load? And I said, yes,
yes.
actually I can. So I became a full-time professor, but non-tenure track. So there is a difference between tenure and non-tenure. Tenure are those that are preliminarily or doing more research. So
Okay, yes.
research is the focus, and they teach. And the non-tenured track is more or less a teaching professor, right? So I was there teaching, I did my research, but the focus was on teaching, and you only get a temporary contract as a teaching professor. So I never knew, okay, what's going to happen in 2020 in February. I mean, the contract is going to terminate. So I was kind of always thinking, actually, what happens then? I was not so old that they have to take me permanently. So I was too young for that. It was good so, because I always had this dream about starting my own business, always. But I was never confident enough to do so. I was afraid of failing. I was, I grew up in an environment that was rather playing small, complying to whatever the rules are, and don't raise your voice and listen to what others tell you, and it's anyway good enough what you have to say, these kind of things. So kind of being put in the box, and I never wanted to be in this box, and I never understood why I had to play small. So there was an inner conflict with me, I want to play big, but I didn't allow myself, first of all, because of my parents. And there's this kind of mindset that tells you you're not allowed to be more successful or playing bigger than your parents are. So I was very loyal. It's still in me, of course. It made me not confident enough to go that route. But then I saw what is there I have to lose. I have nothing to lose. I turned 50, so that was last year. So now it's the time. Either you do it or you never will do it.
You never,
50, you're pretty old here in Europe, because a lot of people retire with 55. So I'm not ready to retire.
I will never retire.
I'm ready to take off, So I thought, okay, I do it now. And I started teaching, doing workshops for companies on the sideline. In 2016. So I was very successful in doing that. And then when my contract ended, COVID rolled in. So I could not keep up the business model I have built and started. So I needed to shift everything online. And it was new to everyone. Also, as a teaching professor, I still continued teaching on the sideline. So I kind of flipped the whole thing, And it was hard for me to start that. But altogether, it was just always my dream to become an entrepreneur and to start my own business. So things that just happened and fell into its place, so that I finally, I got, this push. There was this nudge. So Brigitte, now there's no safety net anymore. There is no contract anymore with the university. So I just started to kind of redefine myself, taking on a new identity, because when you start as an entrepreneur, you need to shift your mindset. It's
of course,
really about taking on a new identity. As I said, it's you have to really start with understanding who you are. You go on a deep soul searching mission, because that's the foundation of building a strong brand. And you need a brand in the market in order to stay competitive long term. You need a brand in the market to be seen, to be distinctive, and to be preferred by the customer. So having the right mindset and the right mind feel. And then this was actually my transition, from a professor into entrepreneurship, because I always wanted it. And I'm happy I did it. It's a different life.
Keeps you on your toes all the time.
Oh yes, 24/7. So you actually need to figure out a way of how to also protect yourself from not to work too much, because it follows you everywhere. I mean, as an entrepreneur who has an online business, more or less,
Yes.
have everything under your arm in your laptop, and wherever you go, you can work. It's following you everywhere. So you have to also set the boundaries. Okay, for today, it's enough. And wait until tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there has to be certain amount of boundaries for sure. But at the same time, like you said, once you're an entrepreneur, like especially when you're in the, you're also doing the business development for your business. Like this weekend, for example, I was out with my husband and my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law. We were out for a Miami boat show. So I am literally working the room the best I can. I was like getting cards. I was like talking and meeting people. So it's kind of working, but it's fun. It's the fun part of working, So you have to find that balance between what is, hey, I'm enjoying my time, but at the same time, I'm making great connections that could be a great fit to work with, people that need my help. But then, yes, you want to call me at 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, no, I'm resting.
Yeah.
By the way, I go to bed at 8:30 in the evening. I don't stay up late. I'm out at 8:30.
And that's the fun part of business. You're working on your business, and
yes.
So the relationships are also the cornerstones, because you need to be in touch with people, and it's about word of mouth, and that's how we grow, right? So it's with and through our network.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And this is also a fun part of our business, being on the show.
Yes.
Together. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Also working on our businesses.
Exactly. Having great conversations, bringing the word out about the business. It's all part of it. I don't know. Have you made any specific, let's say, goal about how many, let's say, other podcasts or opportunities you're looking for to speak about your BridgetBrands?
I mean, I hope that, like a month, 2 times, that would be awesome to be on the show. And if it's more often, it's great. If it's less, I have to do something about it.
Yeah.
But it comes naturally. It comes organically, because I have my own show. So it's like, hey, would you like to guest on my show as well? So vice versa.
Yes.
We swap. We invite each other on each other's platform. So this is really great to do so.
Yes.
Because these are the so-called brand partnerships. It's with people you feel like there is a connection, and then why not increasing our reach through others? This is a way of how we grow and how we do business with each other. I think this is a great way of doing things.
And
learning about new people and learning about others, how they do their job, right? So I see how you are doing your show, and you see you on my platform in 2 months, I think. So you got to see how I do it. So we really exchange ideas and what we can use for this, what we can use for that. So there's a lot of value already in that. So I think we underestimate the value that we create for each other when we have these partnerships going forward, when we have this also being in accountability pots. There's so much growing in that. We don't see that value. When I had my students in my classrooms, and I only taught global students, so that means students that come from everywhere around the world. Sometimes I had like 20 different nationalities in my class. And they had to work in groups. And I told them, please build groups so that you make sure you are working together with someone who is not your nationality. And first they were like, oh my God, this is like too complicated and everything. And I said, you will see what value is in there, just to learn in a safe environment how people go about a certain, let's say, go about a project, how they approach certain things. So there is so much learning in that. And that's what I try to keep on going when it comes to my own entrepreneurial journey, looking into ways of how other people do it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, partnerships are kind of underestimated, like you said. Partnering with someone to learn from them, and you know, I heard someone say, partnerships are the new currency. So I thought it was such a cool way of putting it. So when you think about partnerships from a traditional standpoint, it's like it's very structured, formal, and all that. Versus now with COVID hitting and everybody being online and being able to have your own show and not be just waiting for a TV company to come host your show. You can be your own show host and partner, like you said. This is partnering right now. You come on my show, I could be on your show, and the same thing with other people. I actually enjoy having people come and I can interview them and talk to them and learn from them and share ideas with them. Then when I'm doing a show on my own, for example, just putting things out there, it's like, hey, it's okay, but this is more exciting for me. Yeah,
Yeah,
I totally enjoy this a lot more.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say no if someone would offer me a show at their TV network, but
Yeah, I'm not going to say no.
So, and you said, what was that? Relationships? No, yeah,
Partnerships
relationships.
is a new currency.
Exactly. And I think also that communities are another new currency, a very new currency to building these
Yeah.
communities with people where we engage and where we have this community of learning together.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that also fosters a lot of liking and trust as a
Yes.
business owner. I think that is also a new currency, a new way of marketing right now.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes. Building a community built on, same core values that you appreciate, then you bring and attract those type of people to your community. It's a great way to market with, totally organically, by the way.
Exactly. So I think, of course, if you really want to scale, then you go with ads, running ads on Facebook, on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you want to achieve to have more quality in a community,
Yes.
it's really
Yes.
about keeping it rather small, but then really rich in quality, rich in meaning, rich in
Right.
providing this value by interaction. So
Yes.
I have visited or bought into several courses. These were online courses with, Facebook communities and everything, but
Yes.
you hardly have the possibility to reach out to the person who actually teaches it. So
Right.
it's very impersonal still.
Yes.
I
Yes.
want to be with the people. I want to really help them and build in these one-on-one sessions.
Yes.
Where we can really build the trust, where I understand what is their problem and what is their desire and support them in getting there. So this is totally different. Smaller community, higher quality,
High quality.
large communities where you are actually a number or a name that people forget, or you behave in such a way that you will not be forgotten. This is another story. But there's always kind of someone in a community that you feel like about. I remember that as a professor.
We can talk about it after.
I remember that as a professor, not as a business owner. But you know what I mean? It's really about quality. People want to belong to something. They want to be heard. They want to be seen, and they want to be felt.
Yes.
So it's about that. Because we are in a world where everything is fleeting, where everything is, they need somewhere, a place where they feel safe and where they feel heard, seen, and felt.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I go to my next question, I just want to read out for those who are listening so they can capture your email. Guys, you can email Bridget at BB, like Bob, or Bridget, at BridgetBrands.com. So that email is BB at Bridget, BRIDGET, brands.com. And you can also, check out her website too, which is BridgetBrands.com, obviously. So that would be an easy one. So we do have something special at the end. So please stick around so you can hear out this special at the end of the show. So with that, Bridget, so tell us a little bit more about, so you gave us very general ideas of the community, the type of things that you work on, but who is your client? Who are your typical clients that you're working with?
Okay, this was also a process, and everyone is going through this process of finding your ideal client, the client, your dream client, the client you actually want to work with, and who wants to work with. There needs to be this connection, as we know, right?
Yes.
So it was a process because I come from the world of global brands, working with all these big brands, Torossian, and all this kind of, company brands and product brands. But then based on my own journey, my personal journey, my personal story, I focus now much more on the humans behind all these big brands. And everyone is a personal brand. If you want it or not, you are branding. You are when you are a personal brand. Some shine more, some shine less. It really is the question of what you want and whether you're aware of it. And that's what I'm focusing on right now. And it turns out that I can very well with women. And I'm also, I feel like we need to really, it came more or less from this leadership global community where we got to know each other. It's empowering women. We have so much to say. And we are still undervalued. So we bring so much to the table, and there's a lot of women who want to start their own business. And they need a brand. And it's all about this entrepreneurial branding journey, right? So when you start your business, you have to also start branding early on. Otherwise, others brand you and you might not like it, right? So these are my ideal clients that I'm working with right now. As a former corporate and academic, now turned into a branding entrepreneur who supports primarily women, but also I'm including men. So I do also one-on-one coachings with guys, but focusing on women at the moment when it comes to my online challenge and my online courses.
Got it. And do you work with, let's say, women that are in corporate, but they're, let's say, at an executive level that you do require, I think we don't realize, like you said, that even if you're in a corporate setting, you're not going to go out and start your own business, you still need your personal brand as the executive. So
exactly. And as I said, it's corporates who want to start their own business. I mean, we also work with organizations and do workshops for leaders to help align. And here we come back to the values, to align the corporate values with the personal values.
That's amazing.
You as an organization, you can only be successful when those value sets are aligned. If you're going into the right direction, if you're following this vision, if you have the same stories, pictures in mind, if you are living and breathing the same mission, vision, purpose, goals. So that's what I do as well. But my client in my challenges and my online courses is women who either want to break away from corporate or academia and start their own business, or are newly minted entrepreneurs. So are basically at the beginning of their journey. So it's all about helping them to increase their confidence and, of course, understanding what branding is. Where do I start with branding? How do I do it? And then, I help them, guide them through the whole process.
Yes, absolutely. And are you able to share some of those steps from the entrepreneurial branding process?
Absolutely. So I have come up with as a former academic, you always work with frameworks.
Key. Yes.
Yeah, so I have a 3-step branding blueprint,
Yes.
and it's a process. So entrepreneurial branding is, as the journey is also a process. And
Yes.
as mentioned before, you have to start with the right mindset. So this is the first step. You
Yes.
really need to know what is your vision, what is your mission, and
Mm-hmm.
what are your underlying values that you live by, because the
Yes.
values is the cornerstone. Everything rests on that, right? So it's the way of how you achieve your vision, or the way of how you do what you are meant to do. Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the first thing, and also something else plays into that is the we all are having this kind of beliefs sets, right? And there are some
Yes.
beliefs that are quite not appropriate because they're holding us back. So
Yes.
it's also about pushing beyond these limiting beliefs and
Mm-hmm.
beyond the fear that we have. So
Yes.
this is the first thing. So
Yes.
shifting your mindset to a business owner's mindset. The second step would be then building your personal brand. Because when you're starting out as an entrepreneur, and very often we are solopreneurs without any teams, maybe we have a VA working for us, but you really need to know who you are. So it's
Yes.
about reflecting, about yeah, discovering, defining your identity as a person, and then also get the feedback from others. So this is
Yes.
about personal brand building. And the third step would be then tying that into your company brand. Either you go with your personal brand that also is your company brand, or you come up with a new brand. But as a business owner, as a solopreneur, your person really shines through that company brand, because it's about you, basically. Yeah, I have
Right.
the company brand, it's BridgetBrands, but there's still Brigitte
It's you.
Bojkowszky that is feeding into that. It's really attaching the meaning to that BridgetBrands. And
Yes.
BridgetBrands, the name is very well thought out. There's a lot of stories that
Yes.
find that name. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's what you have to really understand. And also, a lot of people think, it's the logo, it's the name. And you just have seen that there is 2 steps that have to come first before you start thinking about everything else. Yeah.
Yes.
So the visual branding comes pretty much at the end. Yeah.
Yes.
This is the 3-step, and then also making sure who is your client. Yeah. That I want to appeal to.
Right.
Yeah, and then your messaging and everything else. So from mindset via personal branding into company branding, understanding what is your company brand identity, building on that,
Yes.
positioning yourself in the market with respect also to the competition that is still out there, understanding what is your singular thing that you are bringing to the world, and then you go from there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is awesome. Great 3 steps, and I put it in the chat. So anyone, if they didn't catch it, they can go to the chat section and then be able to capture the 3 steps. And of course, we do have something else coming up, but a special offer. But then, so in the meantime, though, we still have a little bit of time for a couple more questions. So would you? And I know you may have mentioned some of it, maybe in general, but like, would you be able to share like very specific challenge or challenges that you faced and how you overcame it?
Oh yes. My biggest problem was selling. As a marketer or branding person, I have never studied, learned, taught selling. I never did. And I actually did, I never liked it. When I went into a store, I didn't want anyone to be salesy and sell me
That's
something.
me.
I want to decide myself. And
Yes.
that is keeping me also from being more pushy, to being more, I don't want to say salesy, but it's for me, it's really to overcome that fear of coming out as too salesy.
Right.
So
Right.
this is really something that is holding me back. And also, yeah, because I also always in the classroom, people came to me. I never had to sell, so my students literally came out of the printer in form of an attendance list. So it was
Yes.
already there. I was just waiting for the room to be filled. So,
Yes.
and that's hard. And then, in line with that, of course, understanding a sales funnel. So how do you actually get them into your, let's say, into your
The sales process. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and then okay, so that they really understand you, who you are, that they like you, and that they trust you. And then how do
Absolutely.
we go from there? How do I get them to purchase my products? So those are the most difficult parts
Yes.
that I'm working on. And I think there's another thing that plays into that is I have a money mindset issue. So I never allowed myself, like as a business owner, to earn money. I never gave myself permission. It's kind of this, the loyalty and am I
Yes.
carved out for that? This imposter syndrome that is still kind of lingering here. So asking for money and being worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, so to ask for, okay, I'm offering a lot of value, and
Yes.
that's worth something, and that is worth an investment on the other side.
Right.
So it's time to charge the money. Yeah. So this is kind of, and I think a lot of people have a problem with that, is
Yes.
asking for the
Yes.
money that you're worth. Yeah. It's because this also has an effect on you as a person, because if you're not doing that, who are you and how much worth are you to yourself?